I'm Wendy Mitchell. I live in East Yorkshire and I was diagnosed with dementia 8 years ago.
I'm George Rook. I live in Shropshire and I was diagnosed with dementia 8 years ago.
I'm an active member of the DEEP network. DEEP connects over 1,000 people just like me all across the United Kingdom. DEEP helps us to magnify our voices, hopes and intentions. DEEP is hosted by the not-for-profit organisation Innovations in Dementia. Our groups are encouraged and supported to identify and speak out about issues that are important to us.
In recent years, people like us with dementia have been more involved in dementia research. We've been offered varying levels of engagement and involvement, but we very rarely set the agenda. Research knowledge, processes and outputs are inaccessible to most of us, and it's academics and funders who choose what topics to research.
More and more of us have said that we want to have ownership and control of the research. The Dementia Enquirers programme has tried to make this happen. Through the DEEP network, people with dementia have been supported to identify our own research priorities. We can plan and carry out our own inquiries with any support we need and want.
During the 4 years of this programme, we have learned so much, and we have shared a lot of resources openly. For example, the DEEP ethics gold standards which we used in assessing the Enquirers funding applications. These are now being used by universities such as Stirling, and we produced also an accessible research methods pack. We have funded and supported around 25 small projects, all led by people with dementia. These are a few of the topics.
What's it like for us to give up driving?
Can children learn about dementia through interactive games?
How has COVID and the lockdown made us feel?
Can people with dementia benefit from technology like Amazon Alexa?
How can DEEP groups and Admiral nurses work together?
So what do we think the Dementia Enquirers programme has achieved?
The Dementia Enquirers programme to me has empowered ourselves. It has given ourselves confidence to move forward.
I hope it's changed perceptions about people living with dementia and their involvement in research.
A huge impact has been developing relationships with researchers and research communities, actually driving the research, not just being the subjects.
I think it's achieved so much in changing perspective, busting through mythologies, prejudices, assumptions.
Not only give us a voice, it does give us a voice, but it amplifies that voice. Those voices of people living with dementia through their research can impact all over the world, all over the globe.
So do we think that the Dementia Enquirers programme has changed us and or others who have been involved?
I think being in part of the project has been empowering. We've grown as individuals and as a group, and it's enabled us to challenge what we don't agree with.
It's changed my life. I can still be useful.
It's given me the confidence to be here in front of you and talk about it. Because when I was diagnosed, I was scared.
It's given me a fire and a passion that I want to move things forward. It's opened my eyes to a whole new world.
When I got my diagnosis, I initially was positive, and then I allowed the rest of the world really to disable me. But through the support of the pioneers, I learned that I could still really well look at a project or look at a piece of work or listen to somebody's take on a project. It's been the thing that has given me my persona back.
What do we think is different about research which is led by people with dementia themselves?
I believe that it is more authentic, because it comes not only from the head, but from the heart as well.
People that have not lived with dementia, it's a whole different story. They think they know, but we can provide that knowledge.
When we choose a subject to research, it's going to be a subject we care about and that matters to us.
We know through our experiences what needs to be done.
Research with people with dementia gives it that reality and suddenly brings the research alive.
So what do we hope will happen in the next phase?
Well, I hope that researchers will look at the project, look at the book, look at the video and say, we can involve people with dementia. They can be partners in research, not participants. That we can go to them and say, what do you want research? What is important to you?
Although I might not see the benefit of this research that we're doing, my grandchildren will.
If funders would insist on people living with dementia being involved from the start on equal footing, then what brilliant research would the outcome be?
I think the Dementia Enquirers programme has shown that people with dementia can be researchers. And it's often thought that the two must be streets apart, but they don't have to be.
I think it's challenged my prejudices about dementia. It's made me realise that actually living with dementia is something that is going to face a lot of us, and we can do it a lot better. This group has influenced everything from the questions we ask in research through how we ask those questions, what data we collect, how we consolidate feelings and emotions into knowledge.
My message for other academics is really listen and consider where could they fit within your programme. If you're thinking that this is important to people with dementia, why don't you check? Why don't you ask?
Academic researchers tend to have a formula about how they generate research questions. People with dementia aren't bound by that. So what they actually ask is the questions that matter to them.
I also hope that researchers who look into dementia realise that it's very, very important to hear from people diagnosed with dementia themselves. And indeed, they can play a part in their projects and their teams and should.
What I'd love to see is the whole academic world become much more open and accessible to people living with dementia as members of that research community, so that we can all start to generate knowledge together.
My message to funders is you should expect involvement of people with dementia in projects to do with dementia.
We'd like to thank the National Lottery Community Fund for giving us this amazing and groundbreaking opportunity. We hope we've done them proud, and also the many academics and others who have supported us with huge enthusiasm and a lot of practical guidance. They have helped us to navigate the labyrinthine world of research.
Finally, we invite you to help us carry forward the legacy of Dementia Enquirers. Whether you're an academic, a research funder, whether you provide or commission services or sit on an ethics committee, whatever your role, we need you to be our allies and our champions.
At last, we are where we want to be, in the driving seat.